Tarot Reads, and I am back finally with your L word recaps and tarot predictions. I'm going to do 2 and 3 in this episode. Last week was heavy, guys. Did y'all feel that? Did y'all feel that full moon? I felt that full moon and it slowed me down. It slowed me down big time, but I'm back. I'm here and I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay, so L word Jin Q. We're gonna start with episode 2 and then 3. I'm gonna try to make this less than an hour. I got this. I feel good about it. All right, so the L word episode 2. It starts out with the ugly fallout of the wedding. The ugly fallout of Finley showing up at the wedding. The big fight, them going at it. And you know what? I know, one of my friends was like, it's so romantic. I'm like, no, it's horrible because Danny's gonna be embarrassed and that's horrible. Like, I feel like the worst thing you can do is not just like cheat on someone with and embarrass them in front of all their friends and family. Like, worst possible scenario. Worst possible scenario, okay? So, big fallout. My heart is crushed for Danny. Danny has some real questions. Like, did you fuck in our bed? Like, the anger. Like, these two know how to fight. Like, their fighting, I think, is better than their actual chemistry, to be honest. So, but I'm glad we're getting this all out. Like, should have been the first episode, but it's fine. We'll do it in the second. We'll do it in the second in a more dramatic fashion. Okay? So, that punch, though, when she punched my gut, when Danny came up, it was like, boom! Yes! Right? And let's do a tarot reflection. I did say that Sophie would choose Finley, but it would be a long transition. That death wasn't quick, it was slow. And you'll notice at the end of the episode, she asked Finley to stay, you know? And the whole episode, Sophie's resisting the transition. Like, she's fighting for this past that isn't even there anymore. Like, she hasn't even considered the idea that Danny won't go back, you know? Like, she just keeps calling her, even though Danny says she never wanted to see her again. Like, give the woman some space, Sophie. Give the woman some space. Like, don't just ignore what she says. Like, that would tick me out further. Like, I told you I didn't want to see you ever again, and all you do is blow up my phone over and over again. Like, Listen to the words that are coming out of Danny's mouth. But okay. All right. Okay. So, we jump out of that, the huge, ugly fight. Finley's trying to cope with... Alice gives Finley an out, which Finley doesn't take at all. It's terrible. And then Finley follows Michael, and Michael is like, don't follow me. I'm so mad at you. Like, because obviously the realistic response is everyone would be mad at Finley. Everyone. Okay? This is like a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Anyways, so that catastrophe, we go from one catastrophe to the next with Alice and Nat. And just like I said, terrible communication and a whole lot of jealousy and just a mess. Like, you think Natalie would know how to communicate with her partner? She's a therapist. She's a therapist. Why isn't she using her own communication tips she gives to other people? Is this like a thing? Are therapists like really good at giving out information but not using it in their own lives? I hope not. I really hope not. You know, that's just a letdown. But anyways, so Nat and Alice are back in the bedroom after the wedding, and they're talking about the fiasco of it all. And Nat, in the most ridiculous transition ever. Like, that's terrible. If she was on a podcast, you would get laughed out for that kind of transition. But she goes, you know, if Sophie had talked to Danny about seeing Finley before the wedding, if they had had an open relationship, do you think it could work? And Alice, of course, Queen of Swords reversed, shuts that down. She shuts that down, she is done. But like, thinly veiled way to make the whole wedding about them, you know. Nat is just like, oh yeah, it's okay. No one's gonna guess this. And Alice sees through it, but she shuts it down anyways. And instead of saying what she needs, instead of voicing and advocating for herself, Nat goes and cries in the bathroom. And it's just like, she's a therapist. She's a freaking therapist. How is she so... Okay. It was a weird transition. Alice shut it down, which she should have known Alice was going to do that because Alice has been doing that. You know, like, you kind of ruined it. I mean, she didn't really ruin it. They didn't discuss the rules over whether Nat and Gigi should be hooking up without Alice, but that was already ended badly, you know? And I'm pretty sure they haven't even talked about it based on how they described how the thing ended, where Nat was like, oh, it could have been better, and Alice was like, it was horrible, it's terrible, you know? So they didn't communicate. Like, it was just a whole mess. They had the most ridiculous conversation about it later, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize. Okay, so we go to Shane and Tess. Now, Tess is my love. I was going to say she's the crush of my episode, but she's the crush of the series. She is just more adorable every scene she comes on and gets in there. Love her so much. I would also build a business just to give her a job, which is what Shane does. And I did say that in the cards. If you look back, you can hit the link because there's timestamps down below, and there's timestamps down below in this one as well to each recap and to the tarot. But I definitely said that Shane was going to go way overboard than a friend can go. Like, way overboard. Like, she's got it all set up. She's got the table. She's got the poker game. She's like, all I need is you. And then we're going to make all this money doing poker on the side. And Tess, I was really proud of her because she could have just been bowled over by Shane with this huge idea, having done all this stuff without her. And, like, she could have just gone along with it, but she stood up for herself. You know, like, she stood up for herself. Like, she didn't let Shane just sweep in and fix it all in one snap of her fingers or anything. Like, she's not pushed over into this whole, like, huge change in her life, you know? And she stands up for herself, and from what she's seen, Shane is trouble, you know? And it's amazing. Like, you can just tell that they're no longer in their 20s because Tess is like, I don't think this is going to work out. I don't think you're ready for it, you know? And from what she's seen, like, Shane slept with her girlfriend. Shane ruined the poker night the first time she showed up. She messed up Lena Wai's poker night. Like, not cool, right? So, from what she's seen, Shane is trouble. Like, not very reliable, kind of impulsive, doesn't really think about consequences. Of course, this is an older Shane. So I really think a lot of it has been just, well, not the girlfriend sleeping. That's just like a whole different thing. But this opens the door for Shane to prove Tess wrong, to prove herself to Tess. If this is something she really wants, it's not easily, like, she's got to work harder for it, you know? If she really, really wants it. Definitely. All right, so loving this, loving Tess standing up for herself, loving all that. Proud of Dani. So, sorry, I am looking through here. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So, is really supportive of Dani. I'm just saying. That was interesting. Like, I know that she knows Dani, but Bet has been in Sophie's shoes. Bet has been in Sophie's shoes. Bet has been the cheater before, you know, and Bet was the one ostracized from the group. And, like, I really feel like she is trying to make up for that. Like, I feel like she feels terrible. She's hard on Sophie. She's like, that was the most selfish thing at the wedding. And she showed up with food for Dani and was like, hey, I'm not gonna ask if you're okay, you know? And I'm surprised there's more people rallying to Sophie than Dani, so I'm glad Dani has Bet. Bet's a little hardcore team Dani, but you know, might as well. If you're gonna have someone in your corner, you want Bet in your corner, all right? So she shows up, gives Dani some food. Really done that. Sophie's at her house with her family, and Maribel's there, and she's like, she's calling everybody out. She's calling Sophie out. She's calling Micah out. Like, just doesn't even care, just totally, like, in all the scenes, she is like, it's like this and this and this, and she ain't wrong, but she got guts. I'm just saying, she got guts. Like, and then, like, the friendship scene where Finley walks in and she's like, we still talking about ruining marriages? And they're like, yep. And she's like, great, I'm gonna go vomit, which was hilarious. Loved it. So weird. I know Finley doesn't have anywhere else to go, but like, why is she at Sophie's house? It's so weird. Just super weird. Sophie's staying with her family, thank goodness, but like, it was inevitable what was gonna happen. You know what I mean? Okay, so Alice is at work, and I have to say, I love the work scenes. They're fun, they're lighthearted, they get me out of the drama, and it's really good. I love it when she asks her assistant what the soup of the day is, and the assistant is like, it explains the concept and not what the actual soup of the day is. It's hilarious. Like, why would you assume that? But anyways, that was hilarious. Alice is happy Finley's back, but she's like, oh no, this is gonna be awkward because I asked you before I knew that you guys hooked up and this whole wedding thing happens. And they're both like, no, it's fine, when that's a super bad idea and it's not fine. Sophie goes back to Alice, just like, please let me get that producer job, and Alice says she'll give her a chance, but you know Sophie's got it. Like, you know Sophie's got it. Okay, so Micah finally ends it with Jose. Hallelujah. Micah deserves so much better. He is beautiful. He is wonderful. Okay, so he shows up and finally tells Jose off. And Jose is like, oh, we can't talk here. My husband's here. We're just going to stand on the porch. And then the husband came out and he pretended not to know him. And I was just like, Micah was like, fuck off. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So he chooses himself over Jose and he walks away, and it's healthy and it's beautiful and it isn't dragged out. So glad that it's done and over with. All right. So Turk from Scrubs is the editor. Oh my gosh, Donald Faison. Oh my gosh, Turk. I haven't seen him in forever and I love him. And he does so well of being just like odd just enough. Like, he calls Finley odd, which is like, hello, look in the mirror, sir. Look in the mirror. You're the weirdo, you know. But by the end of it, like, Finley wins him back with gum. Like, he has all the gum and he's like, this is amazing. Like, hilarious and totally oversharing a lot. I get that he's the editor and he needs to take Alice's story and make it more dramatic, but he is not pulling any punches. He is not. It's a bad first impression. And I loved seeing him struggle. He was like trying to introduce it in an exciting way and get Alice excited about the rewrite, but it was just like delivering terrible news in a happy way, like horrible. He's like, I'm excited. You're like, oh no. Oh boy. But yeah, like, love his scenes, love his awkwardness. It's great. Like, it's a dude on the L Word that I like. He had to win me over. I didn't like him at this point. I've already seen both episodes. But, you know, it's funny and it's lighthearted compared to the breakup drama going on. Okay, so then we cut to Bet on her first day on the job, having sold her soul to this white guy that she's working for, right? And he probably has a name, but we're just gonna call him the rich white guy because dime a dozen. So she's winning over this artist and really connecting with him and really jiving. And then rich white guy boss shows up and totally BS's the whole thing. And he's like, oh, I almost got this other artist of color, but I just didn't think he was ready. Which it was obvious to everyone in the room except him that it was racism. And it's like, at least freaking own up to it. Own up to it and say you're a better person. Don't just pretend like you were noble from the beginning, you know? Like, and Bet really sees how he's using her to save his reputation and turn things around and turn the narrative around, you know? So it's super obvious. It's real awkward. Like, it's just painful to watch. Okay, so Finley and Sophie get in a fight at work because, duh, obviously that was gonna happen. Like, she cares about Finley because the yogurt thing, she says, gotta love a good gurt, you know? And I don't like that Sophie calls her stupid, but she calls her stupid because she thinks it's really adorable and cute and is so angry at her that she can't give her that. She can't be like, oh, you're cute. No, you're not. You're not cute. I'm mad at you. You ruined my life and my wedding. Blah, blah, blah. Right? And Finley's trying so hard. Just way too hard. Like, Finley. And they get a huge fight. Alice pulls him aside. And it's clear that this isn't going to work. So Finley takes the bullet for the team and is like, I will quit. It's okay. Like, I apologize for everything. You know? Okay, so Finley's out, unfortunately. And thankfully, Finley's got some support because Finley goes over to the bar where Shane and Tess are. And it was really some good advice that got given to Finley. And also some foreshadowing for Shane and Tess. Definitely foreshadowing. Shane tries. And then Tess clarifies that sometimes you're stuck in certain cycles and patterns until you meet the right person to break them with. And I kind of get what she's saying. I kind of relate to it. I really say you need to break the cycle within yourself and then the right person comes along. But sometimes you need someone to trigger you into that healthy energy, you know? So sure. But you should never rely on anyone else for your own healing. Definitely rely on yourself. But if anything, this is relating back to Shane and Tess about how Shane has been in this cycle of self-destruction over and over and over again. And now that she's met Tess, they have this healthy friendship. It can grow into something more. There's potential for Shane to finally break the cycle and have a healthy relationship, which would be like mind-blowing and awesome, you know? So Finley reveals that she didn't know the wedding was in progress. She thought it would be at night, but how many weddings are at night? I don't know much about weddings. Don't listen to me. But Finley was like, I didn't know I was walking in the middle of it, you know? And she's like, I wore a stupid hat. It was horrible. And like, Shane's like, I know, we were there. Or Tess, one of them. But like, I love that these two are becoming more like mentors to Finley. And they both hire her So she's got another job. She's already moving on. Talk about networking. Well done, Finley. You are lovable. And Shane says that she's proud of Finley because Finley spoke her truth, where a lot of people aren't courageous enough to do so. Should she have done it in a better way? Yes. But she was honest and she spoke her truth. Shane opens up and he really shares some stuff, and Tess notices it and it touches her. She's like, oh my gosh, growth. Because this is the L word and that's all it takes. All right? Okay, so Micah's gathering stuff for Dani, or no. Micah shows up and they talk. It's really awkward. But Finley is like, do you think anyone will ever forgive me? And Micah's like, well, you're pretty easy to love, which is the truth. It's the truth. It was a really cute friendship scene. I really like to see them interacting. I feel like this season's doing a lot better of a job in weaving the characters into each other's lives in a realistic, believable way. So, whereas Micah was like on an island by himself, and like these characters were over here, and it was a whole mess. So I feel like the flow is we're really coming into the flow this season, and it's going really well. We see Dani running, processing, dealing with all this crap, having realizations, just like, ugh. That's all I have to say about that. Poor Dani. That sucks. Okay, and then we go to Shane and Tess talking. And I have to say, I like this friendship to lovers thing. I like it. It's weird because it started with Shane sleeping with her girlfriend, but whatever. It's the L word. It's the L word. So whatever, right? We find out that like Tess's mom is in a nursing home and plays bingo and smokes and living a life, but has MS. And we learn, she's like, all right, I shared, now it's your turn. And Shane shared that she needs the poker night because the divorce has been finalized. Hallelujah. The divorce is finalized. It's over, but her ex got half the stuff. So Shane needs she needs like a side hustle. You know, because I mean, even when you're rich, you apparently need a side hustle. But anyways, Shane is sharing that, like, this isn't just a favor I'm doing for you. You know, like, it's showing her vulnerability. And Tess is surprised by that. Really surprised. And is like, all right, I'll give you a chance. I will give you a trial run. This is not a permanent thing, but you know it's gonna be a permanent thing. Shane's gonna pull this off. It's gonna be charming and beautiful, and there's gonna be a whole thing, people. Okay. Oh, and there's flirting, and Tess calls her a sweet feral cat, which is hilarious. And he's like, oh my gosh, I love Jamie Clayton. I love her. I love her. I love Tess. Like, so much love. Okay. So, they're goofing off. Let's see. Alice invites Sophie to poker night and gives her the segment. So, yay for that. Micah gets Dani's stuff. Okay. So, Micah and Dani are hanging out, and he offers to get her stuff, and she's like, oh, it's the least you can do. Like, I'd be pissed too. Like, best friends. Like, if I found out my best friend's partner was cheating on them, there would be no secret. Like, Micah dropped a ball on this. Like, you don't want to get in other people's business, but if that's your best friend in the whole world, like, I get it if you want to give Sophie a chance to tell her, but you don't make it last till the day of the wedding, Micah. And Micah is weirdly, like, encouraging Dani to go back to Sophie, which is strange. But okay. Like, as the friend, I would be like, fuck Sophie, forget this. Like, don't fuck Sophie. Opposite, don't fuck Sophie, you know? Like, don't even, like, don't, you know? And he's like, you could forgive her. That was probably her mother's dish, blah, 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 blah. And it really, I feel like in the way this was bad advice that actually was good for Dani, because it helped Dani to get closure, I think. I really do think it helped Dani to get closure, because Dani, you don't know how you feel about someone until you see them. And she hadn't seen Sophie since the everything happened, you know? And when you see someone later after a period of time, you know whether or not you can keep, like, things can continue on as they were, or if it's just done and over, you know? And because of what Micah said, Dani was open enough to go and see Sophie later. But first we got a poker night. Okay, so Gigi's courting Bet, and it's really cute. She pulls the chair out for Bet. Like, all the L Word teams come into poker night. It's adorable. I love a friendship scene. Love me a friendship scene. Okay, Gigi's being adorable, and it's so cute seeing Bet, like, not being alpha lady. You know, it's interesting. Bet brings up Dani in front of Sophie and totally calls Sophie out. And it's like, what leg do you have to stand on, Bet? Finley's serving Sophie. Weird, but Finley's rolling with it. But I'm just like, oh, I don't like this at all. That is just uncomfortable. Bet's really harsh, but I feel like eventually the team calls her out on it. We cut away to Micah and Maribel being cute. Micah's breaking it to Maribel that he left Jose, and Maribel's like, I'm so proud of you, progress, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you were a really good friend. And she's like, well, we're friends. It was cute. It was cute. I never thought I would be enjoying a straight couple on the L Word. Well, I guess it's not straight because Micah's not straight. I don't know about Maribel. We don't officially know anything about Maribel, but I would assume she's into guys because she flirting with Micah, you know? So, like, cute. Really cute. I'm digging it. It's healthy. It's adorable. It's totally opposite of Micah and Jose, and that's what Micah dates. Okay. So, Alice, we go back to poker night. Alice gets help from Tess. She's like, doesn't even know what she's doing, and like by the end of the night she wins. That's hilarious. Tess is like, I'm not helping you anymore. The other people start pushing back. Like, everybody is like, all right, we're friends now, right? But you've kind of been here. And like, Bet gets called out, and she admits to cheating on Tina and having regretted it for the last 16 years, and clearly she does. We all regret it, but it's okay. We're getting through it, right? So she admits it. Gigi is like, oh, really? Because I've cheated on someone too. And Alice butts in and is like, yeah, on Nat. But like, you know, she was talking about Gigi and Nat hooking up. But she was just like a whole big cheater thing. And it's so funny because she set them up, and now she's just like, doesn't even know what to do with it. You know? So Tess brings up Shane sleeping with her girlfriend as like, and is like, oh, now we're friends. You just never know how it's gonna go. And looking around at everybody, they know. They're all thinking like, yeah, you're friends, sure, right? Because it's, even if they are only friends, it's a matter of time. It's only a matter of time, and Shane better not mess it up. Okay? Shane better not mess it up. Okay. And I like how Shane looks at Tess when she's like talking and being like, we're friends now. It's very soft and very sweet and very new. Like, I don't know if I've just never paid attention to Shane that much. I know I'm one of those weirdos that like, I would be bros with Shane, but there is no way. But like, I really liked how she looked at Tess. And I was like, all right, Shane, all right. So this whole situation of like, you slept with my girlfriend and now we're friends is completely unbelievable. But you gotta suspend your disbelief with the L Word. You just gotta suspend it and go your own way. you know? The whole thing wraps up in a much more healthy way. It didn't devolve into an argument. It actually came back, and it shows growth. Shows growth for original characters, and how far they've come. Like, you would hope so in a decade, right? So, having had this encouragement from Micah, Dani returns the food to Sophie's mom's and is standing in the doorway. And Sophie sees her and runs out and is like, you can think of yourself, and is like trying to convince Dani to try something over. But that moment that Dani sees her and you really see her, it's a make or break moment. It's clearly a break because Dani is just so sure. Like, she's like, it's over. It's done. Like, I see you now. I can't trust you anymore. And I'm like, yes! Go down and choose yourself. Like, once that trust is gone, that trust is gone. That trust is, it's gone. It's all gone, right? So, yay, Dani. Right on. Let's see. Finley. Okay, so that happens. She goes, then after that, Dani goes and gets a hug from Bet and is very sweet. Finley's at the house. Sophie comes home and she's like, oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you would be at your mom's. I'm stuck in the back. You know, they have a little conversation. They kind of come to terms. Cheerios gets a call out because, you know, Finley's crushing it. So I guess they sponsored some of that. And then Finley's like, I'm gonna leave. This is weird. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go somewhere else. And that death card comes right back in because Sophie says, I want you to stay. And she walks off. So it was more of a transitional episode, but I was happy with the transitions. You know, that was episode 2, the first one tonight, but it was episode 2, you know, and I wanted to recap and the fact that the tarot of Shane overdoing it, definitely crazy. Oh, I wanted to talk about the fact that Angie wasn't even in the episode, and what did I do that? She wasn't even in there. So what I pulled for her was Hangman reversed and the World reversed. So we got to remember that. I'm going to bring that up. Hangman reversed and World reversed. That character ain't even going to show up in the episode. All right. Like, it's not over, the journey. I interpreted that as Angie not finding her bio dad. But the cards went even further and was like, there's not even going to be an Angie in this episode. I just want to note that in case those 2 cards come up again. Let's see if that's a specific message of, like, the storyline's on pause. The storyline's not over, but it's definitely on pause for this episode. Because Angie wasn't even there, you know? But anyways, she is going to be in episode 3. So we are now in episode 203. Woo woo, halfway through. So we start with Angie. Angie's back. And she's excited. She's stoked because she's got her results. And the results are in, and it's way more than she thought because there is a relative close by that's her age that wants to meet. And she is so excited when she sees this person and they start talking, right? And then we cut to Finley and Sophie in this gross conversation about Finley crabbing her pants all over the place. And Sophie thinks it's funny. So fair enough, but that's just gross. I was just kind of grossed out the whole time. I was like, y'all are weird, whatever. She's talking about her wild family. I mean, my family's pretty crazy, but it's not that crazy, thank goodness. But gross. Anyways, so we go from that, which is like not that bad. It's a little gross, but mostly funny. And then we just go to the sad Nat and Alice scene where, oh my gosh, I didn't even talk about their conversation and how irresponsible it was in episode 2. Oh my gosh, it was so freaking irresponsible. She was like, you're bi and I'm poly. Poly and bi are not the same thing. You are polyamorous or monogamous, okay? You can be bi and poly and you can be bi and monogamous. But the fact that she was comparing bisexuality with polyamory was just so wrong. So wrong. And the show didn't even point that out. So super irresponsible on that. But Nat comes out and is like, I'm poly. We need, like, and Alice is like, we can work this out. And Nat's like, what if we don't work it out? But apparently, they're trying to work it out. So in 203, after that abominable conversation, ew, they are here, and Nat is so, like, she's the one that's balanced, and Alice is unbalanced. Like, she shows up completely oblivious that Alice is upset, even though it's really obvious that Alice is upset. Like, really obvious. Anyone would know. A therapist should have picked up on it, but she's just off in her own little la la land of I'm poly and everything's great, and she just feels like her full self and is like flirty and wanting to start something with Alice, and Alice is like, you showered? Can you shower again? Like, obvious signs that she is upset, and Nat is totally clueless, and she has to be either the most oblivious person in the world or she is selfish, and she's not gonna question it because she's happy in her situation no matter if Alice is upset, you know. But that's me jumping to conclusions. All right, so we go to another scene where Bet and Dani are meeting, well, I guess Bet and Dani, but Bet and Gigi are meeting with Dani and her dad, because Bet is introducing Gigi, her girlfriend, as the rep that can get her Dani a new place. And like, it's quick, it's done, but also believable weaving of the characters. So I'm really, good job, Elward, on making it believable, getting Gigi more into the lives of the other characters besides just Alice and Nat, you know? Really incorporating everybody into like a cohesive group where you can get the characters interacting a whole lot more. So yay for that. Next we have Micah is arriving at the LBGTQIA therapy center. Maribel is walking him into work because, you know, it's the L word. No, everyone has infinite amount of time in the morning to get to work. So she's walking him there and getting him set up. It's super fancy. Like, really cool. You get like free coffee. Maribel drops him off. I love her flirting where she's like, the shirt's great. Everyone's talking about it. That guy's talking about it over there. Just like totally riffing on him, and he's just like, whatever. And it's cute. It's super cute. All right. And then Shane, Tess, and Finley at the bar. I love it. Finley's like, I'm going to go see my rep friends, but taking the trash out. And Shane's like, you better not be serious, right? And boom. As soon as Finley's out the door, Tess comes in hot. She is hot. She is upset. She is ready to argue. Like, she got an extra like her whole check was $5,000. And she, first off, was it a W-2? Like, does she not get direct deposit? Whatever. So she says, she's like, this was not earned. I am not a charity case, blah, blah, blah. And Shayna's like, this isn't for you. It's for your mom, and you are going to earn it. And I'm guessing, like, Tess says she had 4 espressos and her bones are shaking. You can tell, like, she just, like, prepped herself up, probably did, like, meditation work, was like, I'm doing this. And, like, you know that relief when you walk in a situation, like, fully prepared to, like, fight for yourself, and then you realize you don't have to. Like, that relief that coming down, she's like, oh my gosh. It was really cute. It was really cute. Can I just say that Tess is adorable? Because Tess is adorable. Okay. So she comes down, and then she's like, she sees these promo bottles that Finley put down, and she's like, where is she? I have to tell her not to. Because she still had 4 espressos. And Shane's like, I'm not telling you because you're probably going to go kill her. jokingly, of course. And like, it's just nice to see Shane have some peace. Like, really have some peace, have a place that's hers, have friends, even if this friendship thing is gonna grow into more. Like, it's just really healthy and really beautiful, and I'm just so happy for Shane. Okay, it's really nice, right, to flow in a healthy way. She's usually like at one extreme or the other, like as impulsive as all get out until she like hits rock bottom. So it's nice to see her balanced and flowing and good. So we move out of that. We go to Angie and Jordy. Jordy's the best girlfriend ever. She's like, it's okay, you didn't tell your mom, I'll take you. I don't want you to get kidnapped. Like, hello, taken. Like, so cute, so put together. Love them both. Adorable. All right, so then we move on from that to Danny, Dad, and Gigi at this gorgeous apartment. Oh my gosh, it is beautiful. It is beautiful, beautiful, right? And the dad, Danny's not so sure because her whole life just changed. And now she's going to buy another apartment because she's rich. She's like, all this just for me. And the dad's like all for it. He's upbeat. He's happy. They talk with Gigi. They really like Gigi. They all speak Farsi to one another. And it's just really beautiful. I like it because no one there is white. Everyone knows the language, so they're going to talk to each other in it like it's natural and normal. And I even like that they didn't do the subtitles because, like, you can get the gist of what they're talking about. Like, it's not that confusing, you know? So they do that. The dad's really pushy about the apartment. And I like that Gigi looks at Danny and he's like, we're going to get it. And Gigi looks at Danny and she's like, I'm going to do what you say, you know? And really makes it Danny's decision, which I appreciated a whole lot. Like, it was good. It was good bonding. It was nice. So we skip ahead to Alice at work and her foosball competition, which is like great. I would love to play foosball with Alice because it looks like a lot of fun. Like, a lot of fun. She's like, this isn't over. Like, I feel like we would be like Clash of the Titans. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. And then Alice brings up that the new segment is too much like James Corden's segment and that they're in a Twitter battle and it's really cute. Sophie suggests a new segment and it's basically what Billy Eichner does. Made it on the street but gay, which is hilarious. Alice gets a text from Natalie that she wants to go on another date like the next day. Like, you're going full throttle here, Nat. Like, no, just full throttle on the gas there, just completely clueless. And Alice, Miss I don't communicate, is like, yeah, sure, no problem, go ahead, whatever, no big deal, because that's not gonna blow up in her face. Okay, and then we skip ahead to Nat at the LGBTQIA Center. She's the one that hired Micah and is giving him a tour. And she's really like emphasizing his transness and is like, here's the gender neutral bathroom and we're so glad to have a trans therapist finally. And I'm like, as big and as expensive as this center is, Micah's the first trans person that they've hired? What? This is in LA. This is not like in the country. Like, what is this center and how much is it failing the community? Like, oh my gosh, right? So she's just like, trans. Has she had no experience working with trans people before? I don't know. It's weird. And then Micah's like getting started on his day, right? And then we go to Gigi, Danny, and Dad. Oh, Gigi's not there. It's someone that works for Gigi. And Danny's signing the documents because you can just pull those up in a day and like get it going. Like, no big deal. Things don't take time. It's just like, yeah, here you go. You want to buy this? Here's the documents. So Danny's signing them all. The dad tells a really beautiful story about how when he bought his first apartment, he was sad about it being far away from the office. And she's like, well, do you want it close to the office or do you want our place close to the school for your daughter? And that's how she told him that she was pregnant. And it was really cute. It was really cute. But then he pulls out like a will and a DNR and like a do not resuscitate paperwork, and she's like, what's going on? And it cuts away, you know, and you don't find out what's going on. Instead, we go to Gigi and Bet at this art gallery date, and it is adorable because Bet is so excited about the art. Like, her eyes, I swear, Jennifer Beals, I live for those moments where she just expresses like pure joy. It is so beautiful. And Gigi has some really good questions, like, how do you know if it's good? And Bet is like, that's not a silly question, like, not condescending at all, you know. And it's like, it just, you feel it. And it's like, Gigi goes to get some wine, and Bet goes around the corner and walks in on this art display setup thing, and is just totally overwhelmed and just thinks it's the most wonderful thing ever. And you're just wrapped up in Bet's joy. Like, how often do you get to see Bet that happy? Like, so rare. Enjoy that. Soak it up. Go watch that scene again, because it'll give you hope, you know? So that was awesome. And she's like, I know this is a hero of mine, Pippa Pascal. Like, this is her. This is it. And then it cuts away. So you're going to find out that later. And then we go to Maribel, Micah, and Finley back at the house. They've got pizza, and they're like, "Zah, pizza." Micah mentions that he doesn't like being the token trans guy. Maribel's hilarious. She's like, oh my gosh, when I was little, I asked for mom for a pony, and I didn't get it. And Finley's like, oh, this is a sad story. Just totally calling him out for being a baby. But also, Maribel mentions that this woman tried to lift her out of her chair to hold her like a baby. Like, wow, right? And Maribel's all like, yeah, you want to talk about offensive? That's offensive. And she's like, you get to help trans kids. Oh, boo-hoo. Like, calls them out on it. And then, like, it's basically a good thing. But Finley, oh my gosh, guys, never do this. If you are a white woman, as a white woman, let me tell you, don't do this. Finley's like, on behalf of all white women, I apologize. And do not do that. I don't care if you think it's like helping in some way. No, it just makes it awkward and weird. And just agree that white women suck, because most of us do. Like, there's a few of us trying. We're trying, you know, but like, we are so outnumbered, and it's embarrassing and awful. So do not sit there. If you are the only white person in the room, you're going to make it so obvious that you're uncomfortable with it, because it's more about your feelings than what they're expressing. And it kind of like makes your feelings more important. So just suck it up, because usually when people of color and other minorities are talking about white women, they're usually right. It sucks, but it's true. Like, we're the ones that are calling the police on the lemonade stand. Like, it sucks. Not that I've done that, but it's embarrassing to be a white woman. I'm just saying. Like, I love who I am, but you can't just like prioritize your own embarrassment over people's real life experiences. Like, you really need to hold space and let them speak without adding your voice into it. That's just my opinion, though. I feel that in my heart, and I feel like that's like, don't do the apology thing. It's weird. Just don't. Like, obviously, Micah and Maribel are both like, oh, thanks, whatever, you know. So don't do it to make yourself feel better, because usually when you're like, I apologize on behalf, you're just apologizing because you want to feel better. You don't want to feel like the bad guy. And you want them to be like, no, you're a good white person. Like, no, this is not about you. This is not about reassurancing for you, okay? So just chill and accept the reality that a lot of white women suck. It's just the truth. So we cut back to Bet and Gigi, and Bet's being adorable and explaining that Pippa Pascal was the only one that was this artist that was upsetting the mainstream, because she was talking about violence against Black people, violence against women, and just like everything. She's super truthful, probably, but very chaotic. She called the art industry, like, called them out on everything. And of course, that messes with your career. So Pippa went into hiding. And no one's seen her ever since. Until now, is what Gigi says. And then Bette's so excited. And they go back and look at the art thing again. I don't know much about art, but you know. They go back and look at it, and they're very excited, and it's very cute. Okay, so Alice is talking to Tom, who is Turk from Scrubs. Alice is talking to them. He asked about the threesome. She said it was just alcohol. For science, I went back and rewatched those scenes. And there was alcohol, but Alice was into it. Don't not tell me Alice was not into it. Like, come on, Alice. You can own up to that. You can't just be like, I would have never done it if I hadn't been drinking. Alice is adventurous. She tries new things all the time. Like, she's clearly denying it just because this is for her book. Just in my opinion. My headcanon for that. But okay, sure. She blames it on the Henny. She blames it on the vodka. She blames it on the alcohol. But anyways, Tom overshares as usual and is talking about the brutalness of, he's like, when I see someone and I meet them, I just see them fucking my girl, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh my gosh, Turk. Stop it. But it's Tom, but he's still Turk from Scrubs for me. Okay, with a beard. They gave him a beard to stand out. Okay, so then we skip on to the fiasco of a scene between Bette, Gigi, and Angie. So Bette comes home early, finds Angie when she's not supposed to be there, catches her, finds the DNA test. I told you they were going to get caught. The Three Musketeers were going to find her out. She was going to get caught. And she did. And they have a fight. Angie runs upstairs. And then the worst timing ever, Gigi shows up. And she's got a little flower. She got Pet coffee and put a little flower in the straw. And I was just like, that's so cute. Like, those little touches are just so... They mean so much. I'm just saying. Like, it really does. It's like, I went the extra distance to really show you that I care. And Bette doesn't even notice it because she's freaking out. You know, and she shuts down. She goes into alphabet mode where she's like, I'm going to be a jerk. I'm going to be a jerk no matter what. And Gigi's a little pushy. So she's a little forward. She's like, well, I think she hits the nail on the head in talking about how, like, Bette might feel threatened because she might not feel like the real mom, even though she is. And of course, Bette just totally shuts it down, isn't ready to talk about it. So she's just, I'm gonna be a jerk. And is just like, totally dismisses things. Angie's like, who is that? And she says, Bette says, Gigi's no one. And Gigi takes big offense to that, which I would have given Bette a pass because y'all just started dating. Like, just started dating. And it's a really extreme situation. But Gigi is like, nah, son, I'm out. Which I'm good because, like, she wants to, like, Gigi keeps pushing the feelings and Bette's all condescending, like, I'm not going to deconstruct your feelings, whatever. So Gigi leaves, which is the best thing you can do at that point because Bette is just, the more you push her, the more she's going to fight with you, you know? So, like, don't even go there. So she leaves Tina, Bette calls Tina, leaves her a message, and calls Angie down and is like, okay, all right, I will take you to meet your half-sister. And is like, has her little thing, takes it out on Gigi, and then is a good mom. So, it was kind of like, she won one and lost one on that one. So, but I'm glad she was good to her daughter because her daughter deserved it. I mean, Gigi deserved it too, but you know, like, if she was going to be good to one and not the other, she should have been good to her daughter. So she made the right choice on that. All right, so we go back to Micah and Nat. Micah is just wrapping up with the clients, and it's really beautiful. It was an awesome moment. But Nat comes in and she's like, I knew this would be so great. You're gonna help so many trans kids as a trans therapist, trans, like she's saying it so much. And Micah's like, had to stand up for himself and be like, why are all my kids, like, I don't want to be the token trans therapist. I don't want all my clients to be trans. And Nat goes through the shock of being called out, of realizing that you have privilege, and says she'll diversify. She's like, I'm so old and stupid and I should have known better. And it's like, yeah, you should have known better because you're a therapist at an LGBTQIA center. Like, why is Micah the first trans person you've hired? Like, it's really irresponsible. Like, really irresponsible. But it's okay because she, like, I don't know why this is her first, I don't know. Like, I'm just losing faith in Nat as a whole. Like, a lot of people didn't like her last season. I was giving her a pass, but now I'm just like, what is up with you? You know? So she says she's going to diversify Micah's clients, and they move on. Dani goes to Gigi's office to get her keys for the apartment, and Gigi's like, let's go out, let's go see the neighborhood, let's go have fun. And Dani throws her old keys with Sophie away, and it's like, new life, new us, right? Gigi is flirty. Noted, right? So then we cut to Sophie and Finley. Sophie comes home. All her stuff is gone. Like, movers came and took the side table, took the sofa, took the dining room table, just like everything's gone and spaced out. She freaks out. Finley tries so hard to make it better. She has the furniture rearranged and is like, you want some day-old pizza? Like, she's trying. She's really trying. And Sophie is like, no, it's gone. It's all gone. Which would be freaking out because, like, things are changing rapidly. They're rapidly changing. Like, she really didn't think Dani would walk away this quickly. I'm so proud of Dani. Yay, Dani. Yay, Dani. Okay, so Sophie freaks out. Finley tries to make it better until Sophie says something rude to her, and Finley sticks up for herself. And they go into a fight, and Finley's like, I thought I was saving you. And then under her breath, Sophie's like, you did save me. But Finley hears it and is like, what did you just say? And Sophie tries to cover it up and eventually confesses that, yes, okay, you saved me, you did good. And Finley's like, are you saying something nice in a mean way, you know? And like, it ends with awkwardness. Finley's like, please forgive me. But it's also like progress, you know? It's progress. And I'm liking the progress. I mean, it's kind of fast, but it's outward. There's only 10 episodes, you know? So then we cut to Micah and Maribel. And Micah is saying thank you to Maribel by bringing her to a stable with actual horses. And they're going to go horseback riding. And Maribel's like, I should have told you the story about the Rolex, which I thought was hilarious. And also she's like, thank you for assuming that I can ride the horse, which she can. She can ride the horse. So it was cute and flirty. Like, I'm liking these little cutaway scenes, you know. And then the OG trio, Bet, Shane, and Alice, take Angie to meet her half-sister. They're really cute. I love them together. Like, OG trio. Like, they're my faves. I love them so much. Alice is like, you might want me to go in there and see things, because that Patterns on Patterns is in. And Shane calls Alice the church lady. But they end up giving Alice space. You can, like, Angie's face as she goes in to meet her half-sister. They can see through, like, the glass. And it's just a nice kickback. They give each other advice. They're all themselves. Like, I live for their scenes together because it's such a nostalgia thing, you know, for my heart. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy, right? And then it cuts to Micah and Maribel. They're having fun. They're riding the horses. They're like, let's do this again. It's really pretty outside. And then we cut to Shane and Tess. It starts out really well. They're like, it's a private event. They got people coming in. They're playing. They're doing stuff. It turns out, I'm just going to finish this out because it's a lot of cutaways and cuts backs. But there's this creepy dude on there. Tess goes to the back. The dude follows her back there, assaults her, and she laughs it off until he goes away. And she comes back and is all upset. And Shane's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's going on? She's like, everything's fine. But clearly she's very upset. And she admits to the assault, that it happened, and that she ended up taking money off of the top of the winnings for like a jerk charge for him. And first Shane wants to go beat this dude up. And Tess is like, no, I told you so you wouldn't do this. And is like, I did it. I took the money. I'm sorry. And Shane is like, well, you should have took more because obviously this dude sucks. So yay for mutual support of people. So we're in Gigi and Dani are eating off each other's plates. You have to, like, for someone to eat off my plate, like, I have to love you. Like, for real. Love you. Like, do not touch the food on my plate. Like, I don't know what that was about, but that was very intimate. Eating off each other's plates, like, that is something right there, you know. And this is like the first time they've hung out, you know. And like, that's very, like, it's food, but like, food is important. So I'm just saying, even if I had, like, if I had a girlfriend, she should still ask, can I have this? Before just like taking food off the plate. Like, I'm no. So they're talking. Dani mentions that her dad might be sick because he's just being weird and positive, and he's not gloating about Sophie being a cheater. Gigi talks about her family. Gigi's got 7 brothers. Oh my gosh. And admits that it was really stinky growing up, that her brothers and her mom have her back, but she's really distant with her father. And at first it made her really angry, and now she just feels bad for him, which I think that sounds about right. They get hit on by a guy, and they speak Farsi, I believe, again, and Gigi says it's a date and that they're lesbians, and he's like, oh, can I join you, whatever, and she's like, no, go, right? And Dani knows everything's going on because she speaks the language too, and is like, sorry, I said it, Gigi's like, sorry, I said it was a date, like, I shouldn't have said that, and they kind of have lingering looks. So obviously Dani's going to bring up Bet and is like, I'm so glad you have Bet. I'm so glad you're with Bet. Woo, Bet. And Gigi's like, I'm not sure it's going to work out, but I want to focus on you, Dani. So heavy with the flirting. There's definitely a lot of alcohol. Gigi's speech is slurring a little bit. Just a little bit. Barely noticeable. So we go from that dinner to the dinner of Tom and Alice at a very fancy restaurant. And he's like, oh my gosh, he's so impressed. He's so into it. And of course, this fancy restaurant is also the restaurant that Natalie's on a date at. Oh my gosh. But this is the scene right here that won me over on Tom. This is the scene right here. Like, classic Alice. Like, I expected her to, like, get caught by Nat. Like, really, the fact that she didn't get caught by Nat, like, oh my gosh. So he's like, I don't get open relationships. He talks about his ex marrying his friend and how jealous he is, watching her walk down the aisle, and Alice is half listening, like staring at Nat, watching Nat hold this other woman's hand. But character growth in that, like, when Alice freaks out, she walks out the back of the restaurant. Like, instead of, like, tripping over something and causing a whole scene and having a whole thing, like, she slips out the back. So progress for Alice on that, for sure. And Tom is really confused and follows her and is like, why are you going through the kitchen? Don't go. She's like, Tom, he's like, I'm here, I got you, I'm with you. Like, he stayed with her, you know, like, so loyalty, you know. And I love it when he got out there, he's like, is it the fun Dito? Sometimes there's just nothing fun about that Dito. Which I thought was really clever. I like that line. And I halfway wonder, like, do I like Tom or do I miss Turk from Scrubs? That's the real question. But I'm gonna go with that I like Tom because that was nice. He was supportive. I loved Alice, which is like, I stood with it and it came out and all my guts came out. And he's like, oh my gosh, that's so gross. Like, it was hilarious. It was a good, like, happy to throw in there, you know. And that's the moment that Alice realizes this isn't gonna work and it's over. And it only took one episode. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of Alice. Holy cow, have we grown? Have we grown? All right, I've been ready for her to move on. I'm just kind of over Nat. Nat is like, woo, off in her own little world, you know? So her purse is locked in the restaurant and it's just a whole mess. It's a whole mess, right? We cut back Tess and Shane, which we already talked about. And then we go back to Alice and Alice gets home. No, Nat gets home and Alice is there and she's like, oh, you're awake. What's up with that? And Alice is like, I can't do this. This is something you need to do. I can't change who you are. You can't change who I am. We need to end this. And Nat's like, no, I'll be monogamous. I want to be with you. Blah, blah, blah. And tries to talk her out of it. But then Alice just freaking walks out. And I'm like a freaking cheerleader. I'm like, yeah, get it. Wow. You know, I am so excited, right? So, like, Alice freaking stands up for herself in a weird. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her for leaving. I'm so proud of her. I just want Alice to be happy with someone that wants to be with her, you know? And like, this is great. This is great. I hope this goes into like some like self-discovery thing for Alice where she finds herself, you know? Like, that would be cool. And then we cut to a montage. Angie finds a picture of her bio dad. Shane and Tess are there with the puppy and they got money. And Bet is looking up Pippa Pascal, so that mystery is unfolding. She also calls Gigi, and Gigi ignores the phone because she's driving Dani home. And they're talking about their lives and growing up, and that Gigi's real name is Golnar. But stupid Americans can't pronounce that. So she goes with Gigi. She was like, Dani's like, oh, all the Golnars at my school wore Prada named brand. And Gigi's like, oh, we didn't have the money for that. Dani's like, this is the best time. Thanks for hanging out. And Gigi's like, the pleasure is all mine. And it's just really flirty. But it gets cut off because they drive up to Dani's dad's house. And it is ambulances on top of ambulances on top of ambulances. Dun, dun, dun. So that is the 2 episodes we recapped. Holy crap, I made it. I am proud of me. Like, that was a lot. But, you know, realness here. The realness, okay? So we only had 1 sex scene in both episodes. And that is interesting because we're now 3 episodes into the L Word with only 2 sex scenes? Wow. That's surprising. It's surprising. Of course, there was a lot of dialogue and a lot of story building that we had to go for. So, definitely a lot of that. Let's see. Let's do some tarot predictions. First off, I want to know what's up with Dani's dad. What's up with Dani's dad? Like, that was the cliffhanger. That's what I want to know. Like, what's up with Dani's dad? Come on, tarot cards. See, it's shuffling. Every day I'm shuffling. Okay. Let's see. Dani's dad. What's going on here? Yes. Okay, but what's going on? It's telling me how he feels about things. All right, so here's my prediction for Dani's dad. Dani isn't telling anybody what's going on with him. Like, he's got some sort of thing going on, but he's not telling anybody he loves. He's just trying to get Dani taken care of in a safe place so that she'll be okay if anything happens to him. He's just trying to be sneaky about it. And I thought he might have come clean to her when she said, "Dad, what's going on?" But I guess he played it off, you know? And I would say his heart has been working too hard, and it's done. It's done working. The heart is done working. So I'm saying he had like a heart attack or some sort of heart problems. And what about, will he be alive next episode? Let's do that, because fun times on that. Nah. Okay, so these are my yes, no angel cards. So, yes, no, maybe so. Will he be alive next episode? Will he be alive? Will he be alive? Will he be alive and in the hospital? Will he be alive and in the hospital? Will he be alive and in the hospital? No, not that one. This one. There's something better. Okay. That's weird. I'm going to pull one more. Is he going to be alive and in the hospital? Whoa. Reconsider. All right, so I'm thinking he's not going to be in the hospital, but he's alive. He's alive, and he's probably downplaying crap, you know, and this scare really freaked Dani out. Like, it really freaked her out, for sure. You saw in the previews that Sophie might be going back, because I could see Dani calling Sophie if her dad had like a scare and got real close. Either he's gone, or I don't know, there's something better. I don't want to say that he's dead on that. Okay, what about Finley and Sophie? Because those previews weren't looking positive, you know. Dani's having a moment. It didn't show Sophie with Dani. It showed hands being held. I didn't think Gigi and Bet got in a fight either, and they clearly did. Based like on the previews, I was like, they didn't really get in a fight, but they did. Okay, so Sophie and Finley. Sophie and Finley. I had the sexual tarot out. It was fun. This one flew out. Okay. So, whoa. Too many cards, guys. Too many. Okay. Finley and Sophie. Okay. So, they're definitely going to hit a stumbling block because they got Knave of Swords. So, it starts out like they have a beginning of some sorts, but it's just like held up. It doesn't actually materialize. You see Finley on the phone like, "Oh, you can't make it? Oh, man." And I'm hoping Sophie isn't with Dani, but it's not over. It's not the end of their relationship. World reversed. It's not the end of their relationship. But they do definitely get a speed bump next week. Let's see. What about Sophie and Dani? Sophie and Dani. What do we got going on with them? Because there are two people in bed that they did close up on the hand holding. All right. Sophie and Dani. Let's see. Oh, that was quick. Hey, live up to my name. Let's see what we got. Oof. 10 of Pentacles reversed. So, like, Dani's going through it. She's lost her relationship. Now her dad, her mom's already gone. Like, her dad's having problems. Then we got the Hangman reversed here. So, I really feel like Dani's just stuck in this holding pattern and doesn't know what to do. Ace of Swords reversed. So, I want to say she doesn't reach out to Sophie, but Sophie finds out and shows up anyways. That's what I'm going to think. And that she doesn't want to talk to Sophie, but she's in a very vulnerable place. So there might be some stupid mistakes made. But Ten of Pentacles, like, it's not lasting. It's not like, Ten of Pentacles is like solid. It lasts for a long time. It's abundant. Like, this isn't abundant. This isn't good. I really think, like, this Ace of Swords reverse is, I don't think Dani reaches out. I think Sophie finds out and shows up. But I don't know. Like, I feel like this message and everything, they're totally, like, trying to throw us a curveball, because I don't see them getting back together. I just don't. I don't see it happening. I don't think it's gonna happen. And that's just not my own bias. It's not. Alright, how about Bet and Gigi? Bet and Gigi. Bet and Gigi. What do we got? Oh, that one flipped over real fast. Oh, two things. Well, Bet and Gigi, right on. Let's do one more card. Bet and Gigi. I swear these are not all reversed. Whatever. Okay, so we got the Devil, the King of Chalices, and the Eight of Cups reversed. So when Eight of Cups is upright, it's over. Gigi coming back. Gigi coming back. She coming back. She adores Bet, like she does. That's why she's doing her little flower in the straw and all that. She adores Bet, and Bet's hot as hell. Like, they gonna work it out. They're gonna work it out. It's gonna be fine. Like, they just had a little bump on the road. Gigi, I don't know. I feel like the show was trying to allure us to think that Gigi would, like, automatically jump to Dani, but I really don't think so. I think Gigi likes Bet a lot, and it scares her how much she likes Bet and how much she wants to make this work. Because that was a very healthy conversation she was trying to have with Bet over Angie, but it was just really bad timing. It was really bad timing. So I think they're going to be fine. They're going to talk it out. They're going to figure it out. Like, this was just a speed bump for them as well. Okay, how about Shane and Tess? Shane and Tess, what do we got going on? Oh, interesting. Shane and Tess. Let's do one more. And then we'll do back of the deck. Oh, man. Hold on. Hold on, Shane and Tess. Hierophant reversed. Okay. Right on. Okay, so we got Two of Swords upright, Hierophant reversed, and the Nine of Swords. Okay, so Nine of Swords is stress. It's needing to release control and just go with the flow. So this is totally new territory for both Tess and Shane. The poker nights, their friendship, their feelings, it's totally not how they're used to doing things. They're not even aware of their feelings. More so, like, everybody else in the room is aware that they're into each other. They're going to be the last ones to know. They're going to be the last ones to know, you know? And it's totally outside of how they both regularly date and how they both regularly care about each other. This poker night is outside of normal club activities. Like, they're kind of in, like, the unknown, you know? And I feel like all this poker night and this friendship, like, I feel like some of it's going to come to light a little bit next week, and it's going to freak them out. They're going to be nervous about it. They're nervous about the poker night. They're nervous about each other, their feelings for each other. So I feel like it's going to be slow going. It's going to be slow going, and neither knows where it's going to end up, for real. Like, even though we're like, oh, they're going to fall in love, like, there's a lot of unknowns, and this money thing might come back to bite him in the butt. Just saying. Just saying. All right, so who else we got? You want to see if Tina will be back next episode? Tina and Rosie O'Donnell? Let's see. Let's see, kids. Let's see. Will Tina be back? Will Tina be back next episode? Oh, yes! Exclamation point. Tina's back. She coming back. They didn't put that in the previews. So, Bet and Tina. No. Let's do Tina and Carrie. Tina and Carrie. Tina and Carrie. Tina and Carrie. Snap. Alright. Ooh, dang. Alright. So we got the Fool and the Magician and the Seven of Swords. Surprisingly enough. Okay, so they are starting out on this new journey, trying to plan their wedding, trying to make it happen, trying to manifest their marriage, basically. And I feel like they're moving too fast. Like, they have the high ground, they're good, but I don't know, I just feel like they're moving too fast and they need to slow down. But that's just me. I feel like this is what they're saying. They're moving too fast and they need to slow down and really take their time. Don't rush into the wedding, you know? And like the unknown territory of the bio dad, even though he's a friend. All right, Bet and Tina. Bet and Tina, the real questions going down here, people. Bet and Tina. Oh, we're gonna go with that one. Oh, what? Ooh, interesting. Interesting, guys. Okay. No, I thought it was, but it was this one. Ooh, all right. One more, just for funsies. One more. Okay, so we got the Fool pops up again. So the Fool, the Star, and the Knave of Chalices. My gosh. All right. So the fact that the Fool came up in both of Tina's relationships, well, not that Bet and Tina are in a relationship, but with both pairings, is that Tina can have a new beginning with either one of them. Really, honestly. She's in unknown territory. This is a whole new thing, the co-parenting, the being with somebody else. And I really think her and Tina are healing themselves and healing their relationship through this co-parenting. And it's really bringing them closer together, you know? And this Knave of Chalices, like right here, Knave of Chalices. Like, there's a lot of love here and a lot of love for their family and what this family could be with Carrie or without Carrie. Like, I feel like the fact that the Fool came up twice is a crossroads, so to speak. You know, like Tina's coming up on a major decision, even though they've barely been in it, but she's being faced with a new reality. Does she want the co-parenting reality where she and Bet are in different relationships? Does she really want that? Or does she want something? Does she want to heal things with Bet and start over? You know, like she really has a foot in both worlds, I feel like. Even though, like, up front, she's like, I'm with Carrie, we're getting married, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, saying something and actually doing it, totally different things. So, oh, that fell out. Ace of Pentacles and King of Swords. All right. So it was cool that we had another king for Bet and Gigi. And this this woman's right here. So I'm thinking Tina is gonna be like, what is with Bet and Gigi? What is this? I don't know how I feel about this. I need to know more, which really is her own thing. Ace of Pentacles reversed. I think Bet's gonna get in between. Like Tina doesn't want this new beginning for Bet. She doesn't. Like, she's up in the window. She's like, oh, Bet's not giving me googly eyes. Why isn't Bet giving me googly eyes? Why is she giving Gigi googly eyes? You know? She don't like this new beginning. She don't like that. Just saying. The cards flew out. The cards say. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'm definitely going to have a new one next week for episode 4. I appreciate you watching, and y'all have a good one. Okay.